Welcome to Thursday's highlights. It's been another glorious day both on and off the water at Henley Royal Regatta. The women have made their 2015 debut and they did it in race 1. So this is the race we're going to show you first. It's the Diamond Jubilee, the Junior Women's Quadruple Sculls, Henley versus Shrewsbury.
And this is race number 1. It's a heat of the Diamond Challenge Cup. Shrewsbury School against Henley Rowing Club. And they're off, John. This is a fantastic event. This is a new event, 2012 first come in, and it's raised the standards of women's quads here in Great Britain. And you're looking at two fantastic quads. Henley Rowing Club, a young crew against Shrewsbury. And Henley just needs to do a little bit of steering there, but we've had a great start.
Absolutely. They do have those little things that they sort of line up at the beginning so that the person who's looking from the stroke seat, that's what we're facing here, can set off in the right direction. But of course, those early strokes, sometimes a little bit nervous, not quite even. Looking much smoother now. This is a good quad from Shrewsbury, looking very calm and collected. They don't look too nervous, looking across just to see where the others are, and there they are. We have this tracking camera just past the island.
Both these quads will have really worked for this moment. This will be the highlight of their season.
Absolutely, it's been a very successful season. They started last November by winning the Force Head of the River, the junior event, which is obviously something like 2 years older than they are, in fact. So they've come through the window. There have been a few changes, but they've come out of a very successful 8 that has been all conquering this season. And I'm sure that they're very comfortable taking on this responsibility, but it's an exciting time for them.
Looking now on the Shrewsbury, it's the stroke girl there. She's calling out to the other members of her crew, and that's actually quite unusual because it's quite hard to hear that, and they may have to think about that should they progress later on this season in the regatta when it gets really noisy. But at the moment, Letty Tay, she's giving the command in that Shrewsbury crew, and she's demanding more of her crew. She wants to break Henley at this point, John.
Well, I hear what you're saying about the being heard and stuff like that, but I quite like the idea of the stroke having that, because she can feel the backup. She can feel how she is being responded to by the rest of the crew. Look at this. This is amazing. This is a wonderful development for the local crew. These youngsters are certainly taking advantage of a middle push. But as you can, it looks so calm, so collected. There's no sudden thrust back of the heads. There's no wrenching of the hands. It's so smooth and so effective. I'm really impressed by this young quad.
At the moment, it's Henley Rowing Club getting the better of Shrewsbury School on the Henley Regatta course. Shrewsbury not ready to give up. They're pressing it on. They're calling it on. Again, we've got Letty Tay asking more from Claudia Clifton-Smith, Abby Reynolds, Sian Hilton, her crewmates, and asking them to drive on. But at the moment, Henley Rowing Club, that quad is just floating over the water. You can see the relaxation on the Henley Rowing Club with their bow girl giving the calls on this occasion, and she'll be telling the girls what she can see. She'll be giving them that information that things are going well for the Henley Rowing Club quad. This is a great performance.
It is, and they're coming up to what we consider to be the last the finishing straight, so to speak. They're approaching the public enclosures, although Henley still maintains a magnificently elegant. I'm just overwhelmed by this crew. As a coach, I just can't see how they're moving that boat so well. It's just all efficiency, effectiveness, length, timing. Absolutely wonderful to see that. So yeah, seeing this this standard at this age is fantastic, and it'd be interesting to see where they are in another couple of years.
Taking the applause of the small crowds at the moment here, turned out at 9 o'clock in the morning, the local crowds who know that their local crew are going to be competing. So coming up to the floating stands now, pressing themselves through and crossing their finish line. It's Henley Rowing Club that beat Shrewsbury School in this heat of the Diamond Challenge. And doing the 3 cheers as we would expect.
So a solid win there for the junior women from Henley Rowing Club on their home water. Now, one of the things we love about this new filming technology is our ability to get right on board with the crews. This is a great example. Race 6 in the Thames Cup, Rennrudder Gemeinschaft Mulheim versus Kingston Rowing Club.
We are looking at the moment Mulheim against Kingston. It is Mulheim who are leading in this heat of the Thames Challenge Cup. It's a second round. Both these crews having raced yesterday. They're back at the regatta today. It's a beautiful day. It's a much cooler day, so I think that's going to be very welcomed by these athletes. And what Mulheim have done is they've gone out really fast. They've built on their first race, which they're happy with already, and they're feeling like they're getting used to Henley. They're beginning to feel at home here, and they're putting in a fantastic performance. But Kingston Rowing Club, you see their bows coming into the shot at the moment. They are holding on, they're driving their boat on, they're digging deep. They're going to give everything to see if they can get back on terms with this crew. They want this.
I think you can see both boats now have just taken the stroke rate up slightly as they come into the steward's enclosure. You know, these last 100 metres, so important to make sure that you keep pressing on. You don't want to be caught napping. You know, that's where things can happen in these last few strokes. So you can see both crews there, Kingston and the crew from Mulheim, just slightly upping the stroke rate to come past through the enclosures.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where foreign crews and actually home crews can also be found out. It's 2,000 metres, there's so much to the racing these days, and this course is longer than that, and it's against the stream, so it's feels even longer than that. You can see the bowman, the two-man, they're looking around, they're wondering where that finish line is. They feel like they've done their work. Can we go home and get ready for tomorrow, please? But they've got to keep concentrating. You know, this is where they need to push it on. You can hear the Kingston Rowing Club's fan, they're cheering their crew on, but Mulheim, they have opened up that gap again. They've done a great performance there. They used their early start, they took advantage, they controlled the race, and now they're reaping the rewards as Mulheim come across the finish line, winning this heat of the Thames Challenge Club. Kingston Rowing Club finishing now. A great performance. They've given it everything they have. Mulheim delighted there, really pleased with what they've done. You can see those athletes, that meant something to them. They're through to Friday.
If there's one place on the Henley site that has it all, it's the boat tents. Yes, there are blazers, yes, there's formality in places, but this is where the athletes are. The nerves, the excitement, the winning and the losing, it's all in the boat tents. One of the races we showed you in yesterday's highlights was Tyne's amazing narrow win in the Y-folds. They raced again today, and what you can say about Tyne is they certainly know how to force themselves into the highlights programme.
And we're looking at a heat of the Y-fold Challenge Club, race 8 of the regatta, Tyne Amateur Rowing Club against Oslo, Norway. And let's keep a close eye on this Oslo crew. They had terrible steering problems yesterday. Their race had to be restarted, but they come off the start here under the umpire. They look like they've got that sorted. It's a clean start for this heat of the Y-fold Challenge Cup. And here we go again, just coming off the island. Oslo have done what they did yesterday. They've just drifted over, but they've learned from that. They're getting themselves straight. The rudder's gone on. You've seen the boat shift. And at the moment, as we come to the end of the island, on the sideward shot from our catamaran, it is level. Norway, the Oslo Club against the Tyne Amateur Rowing Club. Side by side, this could go all the way, Camilla.
I think that it's very easy in these kind of coxless boats to make big changes very quickly, so I'm sure we'll see it kind of shifting all the way through the race.
You know, Tyne Amateur Rowing Club on the right-hand side, they've got the black strip, Tom Hutchinson, Sam Stewart, Andrew Cleve and Julian McBride. They're holding on against this Norwegian team from Oslo, and you know, it's all about the steering with this crew. But it's not over. We've got the Tyne Rowing Club pressing on to the finish line as we come into the standards, and you know, I think we've got some more racing to unfold here yet, Camilla.
Yeah, absolutely, and as I said earlier, during this race, big changes can happen in the small boats very quickly, and as we come into the sort of final few hundred metres, that's normally where that happens, and both of these crews will be looking to make a bit of a sprint finish now, and you know, I think the performance here goes to the steersman from the Tyne crew, Mr. Hutchinson. He's done a fantastic job of keeping his boat much straighter, so Tom Hutchinson there, absolutely fantastic job of keeping that boat running in a straight line.
Yeah, I'm looking at these shots. You can see that both crews now are beginning to wind up their rate towards the final. This is going to be fantastic. The Y-fold Challenge Club, these races can be so tight, and it's about the whole waterman. It's about all the skills. It's about the rowing, it's about the steering, and it's about the pacing. And we're now coming into that part over the 2,000 metres. This is where Henley Royal Regatta becomes unique, and who is going to hold their hand in the fire longer. Got the Norwegians against the Tyne Rowing Club. This is going to be a fantastic race, Camilla.
Oh my word, and this is what Tyne did yesterday in their race. They won their race by a mere few feet against Upper Thames, and look at this. They're doing exactly the same again, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be called on the line, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Here they go. The last few strokes coming up into the line. We've got Tyne Rowing Club against the Oslo Norwegians. We're going right up, stroke for stroke, barrel to barrel. Let's hear the whistles. They are close there, it looks like. For me, it's Tyne Rowing Club. We'll have to leave it to the Finnish judges, but what an amazing event.
That was incredible.
Looking at that finish now, we're watching the slow-mo pictures, and I would give it to the Tyne Rowing Club.
Wow.
But amazing race.
Performance of the morning for me, I think.
So we're at the start of another race. This time it's the schoolboys, the Princess Elizabeth Cup. These are younger boys, and what we have are, on the right-hand side, Gonzaga College from the United States of America. They're rowing with the purple blades. And then on the left of your picture, the Portora Royal School. And Portora Royal School, obviously an Irish school, they're in yellow and black, and they've gone off really high with their rating, haven't they? Trying to get as many strokes as minute as they can do to beat Gonzaga.
I think it's quite interesting. Often I think the schoolboys as well, they've got a lot of adrenaline flowing, they're excited, it's a big moment for them, and we often see quite high ratings in the eights in the schoolboy crews.
So the crew from Ireland in the yellow Empaka boat, and they're at the top of your screen, probably about 3/4 of a length behind the Americans from Gonzaga in the white. I think that's a Hudson shell, would you say, Kath?
Looks like it. I haven't seen close up. You can see already that the American crew is starting to stretch out. They're still close and they're still in contact, and there's a lot of fighting going on to make sure that they stay in contact from the Irish crew. But the Americans are lengthening out a little bit now, and they have got a small lead.
So there we get a look at the Gonzaga High School, coached by Mark Mundell, and you can see these boys are looking forward to going on to their colleges next year, to the Ivy League schools, and victory here will be a really important component part of that. And boy, have they got some tough opposition to get past in this event. Woods Connell just looking across because he knows Portora are very, very close, and that's a great effort from the Derek Holland coach crew, the top Irish school crew, Kath.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're throwing in the pushes, and they are really fighting hard to keep in contact. They haven't broken free yet, and that's a really important thing when you're racing, that they've still got contact, and so nobody's comfortable in the American crew at this point.
That's the yellow crew from Ireland on the right of your screen, and the white from the Americans on the left.
So they're coming really close together, so it's going to be getting really tense. I mean, they are really fighting, and a great fighting spirit in both crews here, and there's a lot of pride at stake, and these boys want to be winning.
So this is the moment of the race where both the crews will try and get as many strokes in as possible without losing any effective length of their stroke, and that vital lead just under a length that Gonzaga College have held throughout the race. They've got the overlap, the Irish, but they just seem to can't do anything, and I think the water's going to run out for them. It's a really brave effort, and the blade tip to blade tip, they're very close there, the two crews, as they come up to the finish. So there we have the shot. Gonzaga College just win out in a very closely fought race over Portora Royal School. You can see the exhaustion from the Irish crew in the yellow boat at the top, and the Gonzaga boys, perhaps maybe they did have a bit more control in that race, and congratulations to them. They go forward to tomorrow.
So I'm joined now by fellow steward Sarah Winckless, who, born in Henley, don't live in Henley, born in Henley.
Yeah, lifelong Henley local, I'd call myself.
Excellent, that's what the local paper will call you. So for people watching round the world, what does Henley look like when it's not regatta time?
Well, it's interesting. If you were here in December in the depth of winter, one, we have very short days, so it doesn't get light until 8 o'clock. It gets dark at 4 o'clock, and the water out here, you don't have any of this paraphernalia. You don't have the tents, you don't have the crowds. It's cold, and it can be bleak, Matt. And this is when the training's done. That's when the athletes, the Leander athletes we've watched here, the local athletes are putting in the hard miles.
And what's the build process like? How long does it take all this stuff to go in?
Oh, you know, it's the most exciting moment when you start to see the first part of the build. It happens in April, and suddenly you realise spring is coming. It's going to get a bit warmer, those days are getting longer, and the regatta is coming. May comes along and the tents are starting to take shape, and you come round the corner one day down Henley High Street and the blue and white topping is on, and suddenly the smile comes onto my face because I know regatta is coming.
Now, you've watched a lot of the races today as part of the commentary team. What's a standout moment for you?
Oh, I was in the commentary box this morning. It was a real privilege actually to follow that race then, the time race against the Norwegians, the Oslo Club. Really tight race, and we saw the Norwegians, a very, very brave race, go out tight, and time just got their rhythm. Pressed on, and they seemed to get that moment. They're show ponies. They got into the crowd and they pressed on and won just on those last few strokes. Quarter of a length it was. Absolutely amazing.
We're all looking forward to Tyne racing tomorrow. Thank you very much. Right, we've got one last race to show you in full, and it's another belter from the Thames. Agecroft versus Leander.
Lots of rivalry here now. They're under starters.
Leander. Attention! Go!
Sam Royston drives his men off the start here in this Thames Challenge Cup heat. Agecroft left of your picture. And one of the great beauties of eights racing is the noise. You go from silence to just deafening bangs of noise here in the eights event, in whatever regatta you're racing in. Look at Leander go though, absolutely powering off the start, taking with them Agecroft Rowing Club.
They are almost stroke to stroke there with Leander.
So the crew's now fully transitioned into race pace here.
It looks like Leander may have the momentum with them at this stage, but Agecroft hanging in there. Fantastic performance from both crews here. What a race this is shaping up to be.
Leander just starting to move apart here. But look how close this is. Agecroft have not given up. And remember, as we come towards this part of the middle part of the race, both of the crews you can see have come away from the side of the course here. And there's not much in it. They're right out in the middle, right out dead on into the stream.
And Leander moved through with only a 4-seat lead over Agecroft. And there's a great shot of the Leander Club, the hometown heroes here on Henley. They've got just a slight advantage over Agecroft. And that was a huge push from Leander there. You could almost see their bows surge, lift out of the water. Clearly a very tactical move there to try and break contact. That's what the coxswain's asking for. Sam Royston in the coxswain seat saying we need to break away now. We want to kill any hope that they've got of coming back in the last stages of the race. So it's about putting it in, it's about biting it down and taking the lead and taking that clear water advantage, which is so important in match racing.
It looks now as though Leander Club on the right of your picture in the cerise colours are just starting to move away again.
And some serious pedigree in the Leander Club crew. Ex-junior oarsmen for Britain, Leon Redmond, Cam Murray, Jack Webber. So very, very skilled oarsmen in this boat. Good experience under pressure. They're trying desperately to break open into that open water lead that we spoke about. Agecroft just managing to keep their bow very close to the stern of the Leander crew. Leander pushing again to try and break open into a clear water lead.
This is all about psychological warfare here now. Who breaks first? The overlap is so important here. Agecroft doing a valiant job to keep it on. Who is going to be the mentally the toughest here? As Agecroft now lift up the rate. Up they go here. Up through 37 strokes per minute. But Leander have something in the tank. They respond. And this is going to be a real crowd pleaser here.
What a comeback by Agecroft.
Yeah, Agecroft have come back. They've got 10 strokes past the progress board. The last 10 strokes of this regatta now perhaps for Agecroft. They've got to throw absolutely everything at it. The kitchen sink has got to go out there now because Leander Club have done this so well to the line. They have held off Agecroft here for the development crew from Leander Club. Good minds, senior minds there, and excellent rowing right to the last stroke. But they will know that they did not have it all their own way. Look at what is taken out of them there. Leander Club, well done to you, and Agecroft there. A great job.
An absolutely fantastic race. Leander squeezed past Agecroft to get safely through to Friday's round of the Thames Cup. That's it for tonight's highlights. Don't forget you can watch each and every race on the Royal Regatta official YouTube page. We'll be back here tomorrow night, Friday, with highlights. It's exciting, Regatta Friday. Some of the big guns get going. Good night.